Welcome back. At here's earnings action. Fortis Healthcare has reported a healthy set of numbers for the third quarter. The firm clocked a revenue growth of over 10% compared to the corresponding quarter last fiscal. Fortis also reported a profit of over 450 crore rupees. Now that's versus a loss of around 30 crore rupees. Fortis CEO is here to take us through the fine print and Ekta Batra is here to take us through the interview. Ekta, over to you.
Thanks, Kritika, for that. We have Mr. BhavdeepSingh of Fortis joining in to talk about the performance this quarter. Mr. Singh, thank you very much for taking the time out. You know, what seems to stand out is this EBITDA growth of around 147%, margins expanding almost 600 basis points this quarter, and that seems to be aided by this transaction that you completed with RHT. Can you just take us through particular transaction, whether we're going to see any more, as well as a gist of your numbers this quarter?
Sure, good afternoon. Thank you very much. Let me just start with the overall numbers. I think that we've had, the country's gone through a big challenge with demonetization. And like everybody, we've all gone through it. And I report that with demonetizations withstanding, that we're reporting very solid numbers. Our Fortis Healthcare revenue has grown at 10%. The SRL business, the revenue has grown by 10%. It's a good, healthy revenue growth, despite the challenges that might exist out there right now. I think to your point, we do show a one-time gain, which is a result of the FHTL transaction that you're aware of. And fundamentally, while the business has done well, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, essentially what's happened is that you'll recall that we acquired 51% of the FHTL, the transaction that we concluded just recently. We own 30% of FHTL, and the 30% stake of the purchase price plus the appreciation in the purchase price and the balance 49, which was reappraised, 30% of that is what's contributed to this non-cash drop to the bottom line. Having said that, I think in addition to that, while we have the one-time gain, certainly, which is good, we've also seen the business do quite well. I just mentioned the fact that the revenue at Fortis Healthcare has grown by almost 9%. We've had good solid occupancy over 70%. And all the challenges that we've had with demonetization, I think the organization has just done a tremendous job in making sure we take care of our patients. We're very pleased to share that during this entire time, with this uncertainty that took place, that we didn't turn away one single patient. Our OPDs were open. We had free internal medicine OPDs that we had going. So I think net, some good stuff happening inside Fortis Healthcare. The numbers are good. The EBITDA has grown by 8% as well. And we're very encouraged by where we are and look forward to continued good strength and growth going forward.
Okay, fair enough. That's on the numbers. So you're still in the process of the demerger of the diagnostic business. Can you just give us a sense in terms of where that stands? When would the restructuring be complete? And is that also contingent possible deal which is in the pipeline with private equity companies at this point? And if you could confirm what's happening on that front, is TPG still the front runner despite the to and fro in court?
Lots of questions in there, so let me take one at a time. The demerger is very much on track. Recall that we announced the demerger several months back, and there is a complex process, as you can imagine. And so we continue. We filed our papers in Mohali and in Punjab, and we believe that that's on track. We see the demerger completing sometime in the next 6 months or so. So very much on track. We think it's good for the business. We think for SRL, and that certainly is moving forward. I think on the other piece that you referenced, quite honestly, listen, we can't really comment on anything right now. I can tell you that any organization, we've taken the approval to raise capital. Any organization at any time looks at their financial structure, looks at what's the best way to go to market, and as any growth organization would, we're exploring our opportunity. But quite honestly, there's nothing to comment on at this time. We're exploring options, and as and when something comes forward, we'll certainly be happy to share more at that time.
Okay, fair enough. So before we let you go, there was quite a hallmark event that took place today where, stent prices are now going to be under the purview of the NPPA, and there's a cap put on stent prices. There were some reports indicate that could even impact hospitals because maybe their sales of stent, in terms of value would at least go down. Your sense in terms of the significance of this event and whether there would be any impact to hospital sales at all?
Let me start by saying first that we think that long term, anything we can do to increase the access for patients to good quality healthcare, we support. We are in the business of healing patients, and anything that improves the access, gives more patients the opportunity to get quality healthcare, we're certainly behind, and we endorse and we support and we applaud. I think with respect specifically to the stent issue, it's early. This news is out. While there's been lots of speculation, it's still 24 hours old at best, and we're assessing the various, if there's going to be an impact. I don't know if it will be, if so, how significant. But net, we're working. We're going to continue to work with our doctors, with our hospitals, to make sure that we're doing the right thing. We always make the best possible care available. We're looking at the stent-specific piece. We're working with the manufacturers to understand how do you transition from where you are to what we need to do going forward. But I'll tell you what, let's talk in 10 days, 2 weeks, and maybe I can share a bit more. Right now, a bit preliminary, but net, probably good overall for India, and we support it, and we'll do the best thing going forward.
Okay, fair enough, Mr. Singh. We're going to let you go on that note. Thank you very much for joining in. Kritika, back to you.
All right, Ekta, thanks for taking us through that exclusive. In fact, we'll have to wrap up this edition of After the Bell. Thank you for watching. But stay tuned. On the other side, markets today will take all the action forward. Stay right there.